Half the playoff race has already been settled. Let's get after it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Legend of the Iron Fleet Express here in beautiful, sunny Alaska. Holy cow, is it gorgeous up here right now. Got the mountains, still got snow, but everywhere else, the grass is exposed and should be turning green here pretty soon. Let's get into the standings. In the East, the playoff race has been decided. It is locked up after this weekend. Orlando, who clinched last week going to the playoffs, has now clinched that they will be home field advantage for the playoff game. Let's see, they're at 7-1. Birmingham sitting at 5-3 after a victory over Atlanta, and Atlanta and Memphis sitting at the bottom there with 2-6 records, and they are sitting on the couch of misery. In the West, Arizona has come all the way back from third place and now sits atop the West with 5-3 record after beating San Antonio. Not just beating them, but just handing them their rears on a silver platter. San Antonio, sitting at 5-3, is in second place due to division record or conference record. They're in second. Salt Lake has climbed up from the basement and now sit at third, still very much in the playoff hunt at 3-5. And San Diego has slipped all the way down to the basement at 3-5 as well. That race has not quite been decided yet. Arizona can clinch the playoffs with a win this week. But holy cow, what a fun race it's been out there. All right, getting into power rankings here. I went with pie this week. Why? Because everybody loves a nice slice of pie. So, number one, we got Orlando. Typical, always sitting at number one. Number one spot has to be apple pie. It's as American as apple pie. This is the Alliance of American Football. And it just goes together. So, Orlando, apple pie. Number two, my personal favorite type of pie, peach pie. I got Arizona right there at number two. They have just been playing lights out football, and it is just been really cool to see them come from down in the dumps, 3-game losing streak, and now they just put a hurting on what was arguably the second best team in the AAF. San Antonio, another popular pie here is cherry pie. San Antonio slips to the third spot this week just because they've got that 5-3 record, but they lost to Arizona. Arizona just edges them out because they just beat them so bad in the dome. So yeah, San Antonio drops to number 3. Number 4, Birmingham at pecan pie. Why pecan pie? Because pecan pie is a Southern tradition. Birmingham is from Alabama. When you think of the South, most people think Birmingham. Sorry to all you other Southern folks down there. That's just the way it is for a lot of Northern people. But Birmingham, we got them at pecan pie. Why are they below San Antonio? Well, San Antonio beat Birmingham, so that's why they sit at number 4. Number 5, at blueberry pie, I have got Salt Lake City. Salt Lake has proved that they're a dangerous team. They can win games. They can do very well. Boring game to watch this week, but they still got it done. Blueberry pie, yeah, it's pie. It's kind of a boring flavor. Not as good as the ones above it, but it's still pie. Number 6, we got Memphis with strawberry rhubarb pie. Another one of my favorite kinds of pie. My wife makes a really good strawberry rhubarb pie, honestly. But I got Memphis there at number 6. They have shown that they are a good team. They are rejuvenated with Silvers under center. Johnny Manziel comes in. He's doing a lot of good things until he gets that head injury, and they look like a different team. But strawberry rhubarb pie best describes them here because, one, they got the sweet, feeling of, hey, we're back, we're a good team, we're playing well, we got that overtime win. We're going into that and the bitter feeling and the bitter taste in their mouth because they lost in a kind of a controversial way. You be the judge how you feel about that, but it's a bittersweet team because at some points it's really sweet. They got Johnny Manziel. They're playing better football. Their defense looks good, and they win a game in overtime, and then they lose at home against Orlando, controversial way, and they are knocked out of the playoff picture. San Diego, at one point, they were my number 3 team. They looked like they were the team that could be the West team that goes into the playoffs, but now they are reeling. They are on a losing streak, a 3-game losing streak at the end of the season, which is usually not a good time to have a losing streak. I got them at fruit pies. While they're called pie, we all know that they're basically like the candy bar equivalent of pie. They're not real pie. Just like San Diego, who we thought was a real team, is showing that at the moment they're not really a football team. They're just kind of filler. And Atlanta, at one point we thought Atlanta was going to come in. They went on a 2-game win streak. Everybody was high on him. Murray looked like the savior the team needed, and the season was going to end with them going to the playoffs and having great, and then they just started losing again. And it just looked bad from there. I got them at cow pie. Why? Because they're crab. So this week, game predictions. I got Memphis going into San Antonio and coming out with a win. Memphis is playing really good football right now. Their defense looks really good. Their offense is clicking. Silvers is going to have his 3rd start in a row, and he is just looking better and better every week. San Antonio looked terrible against Arizona. I don't know if they're going to come back really from that, but Memphis, I just see them going in, riding high from that overtime win, then the disappointment. So they want to win. They want to go and upset San Antonio in San Antonio just because that's where their season's at. They can play spoiler to where San Antonio doesn't get a home game in the playoffs. Orlando over San Diego. Let's face it, the best team is going to play the last seed in the Western Division. The best team in the league is going to go play arguably one of the worst teams. It's going to be over early, I think. It's just not going to be that great. I got Salt Lake over Atlanta, which would make the West really, really interesting, especially if San Antonio loses and Salt Lake wins. They are still very much in the playoff race right now. So I've got Salt Lake over Atlanta just because Atlanta is just that bad. And Salt Lake, they've got that defense, and their offense can do things in spurts. We'll see what happens. And finally, I got Arizona over Birmingham. Arizona's just on fire right now. The hot shots are on fire. Birmingham has shown that they are kind of lacking in the offensive side. Their defense is still playing really good. They played lights out against Atlanta. But that offense just struggled and struggled. I mean, Richardson finally busted off a few big runs, finally looked like he had something going. Helped put the game away, really, with a big run on 1st down when they were on the 1-yard line. But I don't think that their offense has enough power to handle what Arizona is going to be doing, which is putting up points. And I don't think Birmingham's defense is going to be able to stop that high-powered hot shots offense enough that the Birmingham offense can keep up with it. So those are my predictions. And yeah, last week and the week before I was 3-1. So let's see. Hopefully this week maybe I can be 4-0. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, gonna do something a little different. Instead of bold predictions, because I really don't have one this week. I can't really see anything bold that could happen. Silvers clearly is in #1 spot for the Memphis quarterback position. and the games are what the games are. There's a little bit of excitement. I don't have one for the week, but I will have one for the last 2 weeks. I think that San Antonio goes on another skid here. I don't think it's just going to be a one-game loss and then they win their last two. I think they are going to go on a skid, and I honestly think Salt Lake is going to blow everyone's mind and make the playoffs. So that's my 2-week bold prediction. Salt Lake ends up getting the number 2 spot in the playoffs and goes down and plays the Hot Shots for a 3rd time this season.